His Ph.D. in modern thought and literature from Stanford, where he was awarded the Walter Gore Award.
In any event, the first piece I'm going to read is from a book, novel I published several years ago, Watermelon Nights. And this is a section where the young man, the young narrator, has fallen in love with another young man. It's his first love, and the other man is playing straight and acts like it's not love or not anything. And so the guy's kind of heartbroken, and he goes to an old Filipino man who had loved his Indian grandmother at one time to try to find out if this guy could tell him something about what love is. If indeed this guy wants to know if he's in love, he loves this guy or not. So anyway, it goes, does anybody know what love is? Can a person know before he's smashed like an almond in the jaws of a nutcracker? I needed to know. I asked for nothing more. Not Felix, not nothing. Just to know what was happening. What slow death creation picked for me. Was it love? Felix kept his word. I never seen him after I left him off at Auntie Molly's that last day after McDonald's. And I didn't go looking for him neither. I quit eating. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't match clothes to people. Pick for yourself, I said. I went to Dell. I asked Dell. I know the story. How his heart was broken. How his heart was healed. I always suspected it was Grandma he loved. That him and Grandma was both telling me the story of their love without identifying the other person. And because they didn't name the other, I didn't feel it was right to ask. Now I'd listen again. Maybe I'd understand something. Tell me again, I asked one morning after we finished the chores. It was a warm morning, as clear as a bell, and me and him was leaning on the fence behind the hay barn where the cows was moving single file out of the corral, making their slow, dusty way to the open pasture up the hill. Used to be all green up there when Dell had enough help to set irrigation pipes. Now it was dry, bone dry, like everything else this time of year. But the cows liked it anyways, liked to browse it. They were still looking for grass there. And by 12 noon, when the silver mercury thermometer outside the milk barn read 90 degrees, they'd be under the oak trees on the far side of the pasture, the coolest part of the farm. I loved the woman, Dell said, the way he always started the story. She put her arms around me. He run his hand over his blackberry face, then held the back of his neck for half a second, like that would click his memory and take him back in time. Only one woman before that, not long in this country, and the boys, it was my cousins and my brother, they took me to that first woman, over in Fulton. She had a place there. Oh, we was all just young punks then. Anyway, this girl, you give her the money, then she takes you inside her house, and she's in there like this. Dell stepped wide and lifted his arms, demonstrating how the woman lay spread eagle on the bed. So I was there like that with her. Then what happened, I looked once, maybe over at her arm, how it was across the bed, and seen the bull. The bull, he's the one watches nobody hurts that night. He stands in the corner of the room, only I didn't see him before. Then it was all over for me. Nothing doing. He paused, thinking, then said, I don't think she liked Filipinos, that lady. White lady, you know. My cousins and my brother, they go back sometimes, but not me. A fly buzzed in front of Dell's face. He swatted it, then rested his hand back up his neck again, this time for a while before he continued with his story. I looked over at the cows, all of them out of the corral now, the last of the long, dusty line plodding up the hillside, big udders swaying back and forth with each slow step. Number 72, the empty-headed Holstein, pulled up the rear. Behind her, the very last cow in the line, was number 140, the Dalmatian spotted first freshman, the new cow. We worked in the fields, Dell said finally. Picked prunes, apples, whatever, laundry in a big house, and oh, McDonald Avenue, I filled in for him. Yeah, all of us Filipinos, that's what we done. Weekends we go out to Windsor, a ranch there. Cockfights, I said. Yeah, just young punks then, all of us. Drink, dances too, women come, Indians, some of the Mexican girls too. That's how I meet her. The Indian girl, the one you love, I said. Yeah. Dell looked over at the cows and back at me. And you know how she done? Done like this. He made a circle with his arms like he was holding somebody. And I see her again and again, and every time like this. Then he dropped his arms. But she said no more, just left. Maybe she liked somebody else, I said, giving him the same answer I always did when he got to this point in the story. Maybe it was an excuse. No, he said. I don't think so. Was that love, I asked? He peered up at me with his face one big question mark. Was that love? I asked again slowly. What? He asked. When she left, did you feel love? Was that love then, the feeling you had? He shook his head. No. When she left, you're talking about? Wouldn't you call that after love? Well, was that love then? Again, he looked at me as if I asked him to explain gravity. When did you know you loved her? When she done like this, he answered, lifting his arms to a circle again. That's all. Only then? No, talking to her, sitting by the water with her. What did it feel like? Good. After she left, what did it feel like? Not so good. He looked up at me, waiting for the next question. I led him back to the rest of his story, what I'd heard countless times before. So then you come here, I said, and he told me the rest. Hot and thirsty with nowhere to go, the cows and old man Wilson. That's how it happened, he said, me coming here. No matter what you asked him, what part of the story he was curious about, he always wound up in the same place, how he got to where he is today. He turned and resting both hands on the wooden fence, looked up the hill. All of the cows, except 72, and 140 had vanished over the crest. See that? That's good, he said, watching the two cows. He turned to me then, his little eyes clear like nothing else. The old one there, she's helping the young one, showing her the ropes. Love. One mindless old cow leading another. I don't know if I ever expected to learn from Dell what love is. After all, what could he do besides tell me his story, same story over and over again? What can anybody do but tell their story over and over again? Grandma, Dell, me. Maybe use different words, describe it differently, but it's all the same. Good or not so good, like Dell said. Point is, I couldn't fool myself no more. I was living my story. I was in over my head. Yes, love and not so good. This is from my new book, a novella, and I'll just read you the opening of it. It's about this guy's at the other end of love. This narrator. It's called Light. She made me love animals. You know, I looked at this and I realized they're going to think all I ever do is write about cows and horses. You just put a lot of different people together, and I guess a lot of animals come too. It's called Light. She made me love animals. Spotted cows, herds of sheep, rich folks' pet llamas, and butterflies, even that squawking black crow on the gatepost. Down into hell's anyways. My feet was on the ground, and my breath was indivisible from the sky. But not at first. I seen a horse in the morning. A buckskin mare it was, and peering through the fence slats, I seen the chocolate cream coat, the black mane and tail, and black nipples and underside, like her. Actually, it was almost 2 months into this thing. I can see everything. It's 6 in the morning. My eyes is smarting in the first sunlight. A round sun is on the mountain. I'm meaning to get in my truck, but I keep walking. I'm sleepless. I took her home early the night before, sometime around 8. But afterwards, back in the house, I sat up, shoulders against the headboard all night in the darkness, like if she hadn't left at all. Like if she'd said again, you got a nice place here, and then only gone down the hall to the bathroom, maybe to the kitchen for a glass of water, until I seen the light through the curtains and thought, no, she's out there somewhere, outside past the curtains now. So maybe it's the sun I'm following. It's warm after all, and I know without thinking that I'm much closer to her then. Not honey, nothing sticky, but dust. Flower pollen is coating my inside. I keep walking down the dirt road leading to the house from the road. I don't turn right or left. I follow the sun, cross the road, and I'm stopped by the wooden fence. Of course, I'm still looking ahead like if I was to melt through the fence and keep going. And the horse is there, the buckskin, other horses too, eating straw on the hard earth. The mare is the closest. The sun lights her back, all of her form. The black mane and tail and underside stand out. I feel again when I was warm finding her. And something from that place bursts and spreads. The blood lifts and the pollen is tickling in me everywhere. It's not that I'm in love with the horse, but with the light the horse is holding. Its black hair and underside is like her, yes, but that is only to stop me, to remind me. For already I see in that same instant the other horses, and then the fields, the shapes of animals there, birds, all that's like me and the mare held by the light. My feet hold to the ground, and still I'm everywhere. Son of a bitch, call it love. I don't know if the world is inside out or outside in. Don't matter. Call it born again. I have no idea about what happened before. Whatever I said or didn't say, honest. I would say the world was flat if you said so, just to keep where I am. Thank you.